if I was to do that event 6-7 years ago, there is a 0% chance I would have done it. Even at the same fitness level, mentally I was not there. But coming into that event, I knew there was two options. There was like one option, which is I'm going to do it, or two options, I'm going to die trying.
Super excited about my next guest, ladies and gentlemen. He's not the holder of one Guinness World Record, not two, but three. Mr. Ethan Fleming, thanks for being on the show, mate.
Cheers, buddy. I'm excited.
Now, it's a great place to start a Guinness World Record because you've got three more than me currently, so I've got to say that's very impressive. So I'm going to start with the first one. You did 11,401 burpees in a day.
So actually, funny enough, Chris, that's actually not what I have a Guinness World Record for, that one specifically. But I'll tell you what, there's a good story about that one.
Tell me.
So that was the first event that I've ever tried to do, first crazy event. We set out to break the Guinness World Record, but I measured the lines wrong on that one. So we did the 11,401 burpees, 1 centimeter short of the record. So it was a big lesson in attention to detail. The Guinness World Record I broke for burpees was actually most burpees in 3 minutes. So
Which was
68, I believe.
68 in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I've done 68 in my lifetime. That's pretty good.
Cheers.
Now, the second one, which I was so proud that I had the opportunity to also sponsor, which I thought was even crazier than the first, was you lugged a 2-ton Jeep Cherokee, which is 2,000 kilos, on your shoulders for 500 kilometers.
100 kilometers. Yeah.
100. Sorry, 100.
I wish it was 500.
100.
Yeah. So it was 48 hours dragging a 2-ton vehicle. Yeah, it was rough.
I've got to ask why.
I think to answer that question, kind of got to come back. So a few years ago, I remember listening to this podcast, and some guy said he ran a marathon with no training, and I thought, if he can do it, I can do it. And I remember when I ran the marathon, finishing it, at the time I thought marathon was something that was impossible to do. It was the pinnacle of health and fitness. And then I set out and did it, and I kind of had this moment where I realized, oh crap, like what else am I leaving on the table? So since then, it's kind of been like the narrative of my life. It's like, what boundaries can I push? What can I break? Yeah. And the car was just the next one.
I saw, and I was super impressed for a couple of reasons, because I was watching your training and I saw one of your posts where you said, it's not the actual achievement, it's the journey and the hard work and the mindset to get to that point. Because the amount of work, I don't know how many months of work you put in to be able to push a car for 100 kilometers. And I was watching you online because you're doing little updates live as well. And I was proud that Reventon was responsible with sponsoring that. But it was also to raise awareness as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, I did that. I tied the event in with charity, which was for domestic violence against women with White Ribbon, which you're affiliated with as well. They mentioned your name.
I am affiliated with that, and it's a fantastic cause. And it's good that people pushing their boundaries, because I think charity has two components. One of them is actually donating, giving money. But the second component, which is equally as important, is raising awareness.
Yeah, great.
So doing something like that, a lot of people would have noticed, why is this guy pushing? Because I actually asked that question every time I was watching you. A 2,000 kilo truck on his shoulders for 100 kilometers, just to raise awareness. And how was that taken up? A lot of people responded well to that?
Yeah, we from an awareness point of view, it was great. Like it went in places that I didn't imagine it going. So I was really happy from an awareness point of view.
And what was it like from a mindset? Because I really want to understand when you started, because I believe there's certain parts in any journey, and I'm not going to even pretend to attest I have any idea what that's like. Your mind starts to play tricks on you. This is exhausting. This is tiring. Give me some of those points and what you were saying to yourself to keep going.
So it's like life's the perfect example, right? Because you get the ups and you get the downs. And in the car event, it was about riding out the downs long enough that you would get the next up. So at the start of the event, it was overwhelming to know that you're only a few hours into something that's going to be for 48 hours. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I remember in the first few hours, I was dragging it and I was thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to fake an injury here? Because there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. Oh, I'm done. It's been like a few hours. And I remember my support crew were looking at me going, mate, you're not going to make it like the time. You're not going to be able to do it. And I was freaking out. But I think it's just trying to be present in the moment, trying to just not think about what's going to happen in an hour or 2 hours. It's just like one more step. And if you just focus on doing that, before you know it, it's been 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, and you're still there.
And you build momentum. But I think the key thing, and just please correct me if I'm wrong, the preparation, the hard work that you put in, both physically and mentally, allowed you to break through those points. So a lot
That's
of people
right,
will quit
yeah.
and give up. You know that you're mentally prepared. Although you've got that thought, you just keep going.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, if I was to do that event 6, 7 years ago, there is a 0% chance I would have done it. Even at the same fitness level, mentally, I was not there. But coming into that event, I knew there was two options. There was like one option, which is I'm going to do it, or two options, I'm going to die trying.
I like that.
And that's it. That was it. So the rest was out of my control. And then it comes down to controllables and incontrollables. What is in my control is my effort, my mindset, my approach. And that was it, right? You can't focus on if it doesn't work, or because you could have had injuries or anything really.
But it takes guts to give something a go. And only if you fail, I think you can truly test yourself. So kudos. Now, the third one, because it's very hard to keep up with you, I think, because you're always breaking a different world record, was a resistance bike, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Longest time on it? Well,
So furthest distance on a fan stimulated bike is the technical term, which is
that's the one with...
that's right. It's the assault bike one. We've got hands and legs at the same time.
Yep.
It was most distance in an hour.
How far did you go?
36 kilometers, which it's hard to understand unless you've used that bike.
Oh, of
Anyone
course.
on the fitness level would know, like, hey,
After
that's
the
rough.
1 kilometer it starts burning. We get it. It's tough.
Yeah.
But look, for those who haven't seen, I mean, you've got thighs that'll probably kickstart a jumbo jet. So it's probably see. I want to go back because you're big in fitness. I want you to tell me a little bit, if you can share with you the story, how you were raised. I know a little bit about Get Going, which I was super proud because we've got mutual friends that told me how you started, to what your goal is, to what you're trying to achieve. So if you can go to the start, Get Going. How old are you? Where did it start from? And I know the story, which I also started from my parents.
Yeah.
I was in the house at least. You were outside the house, but tell me how it started.
Yeah, so at the time I was, I would have been 20 or 21, and I was a carpentry apprentice at the time, and I really wasn't for me. I just didn't enjoy it, and I was obsessed with health and fitness. Halfway into my apprenticeship, I decided that was enough for me. I couldn't do any more. I couldn't take another day. So I just threw in the towel, went 100% into health and fitness. And I remember at the time I was doing mobile cocktail bartending, right? Trying to have a little bit of a side money. And I remember just thinking, what if we just did mobile health and fitness? Bit of Google search. There was no one that had an online presence for it. And here we are. Fast forward.
But let's go back there. You started from your mum's garage.
That's right. Yeah. So literally was in my mum's garage. I had 10 staff members coming to my mum's garage, and I was running team meetings out of my mum's garage.
So to give people an idea, you went from one idea, which is the mobile bartending. You thought, I love health and fitness. How can I fuse that? You did some research. You started, and I saw an old video, but even this old video said within 3 years, you had you were training over 400 suburbs in Victoria.
That's right.
And you had up to 50 at that stage, but you've had up to 120 trainers nationwide doing this. So that's been responsible for transforming a lot of people's fitness and the comfort of their home. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. All across Oz. We service the East Coast heavily. So we're pretty much in every state in Victoria.
And from the marketing perspective, how did you bring something out? Because the concept, it's kind of a new concept. I wouldn't say that was very common. I don't know if it even is common now.
No, I mean, even today, we're one of 2 companies that are doing it. And even so, we've been leading for a very long time in this space. There's a lot of sole trader personal trainers, individual people going out, and then there's a lot of gyms. But there was no one taking a company format to what we were doing, which is what we did. So
And how did you bring that together?
Well, I mean, if there's one thing I've learned about personal trainers and people in the health and fitness is they hate sales, which I mean, most people do. I love sales. I love people. And that was our skill set, was sales and marketing. So we said, hey, well, why don't we get you all of the clients, train you up to how to be a good PT, and you just get to do what you love. And that concept's just taken us to where we are now. It's personal trainers and, dietitians come on wanting to learn about health and fitness, wanting to be a personal trainer. And in the health and fitness industry, like, what are the options, right? Work at a gym, pay $400 a week in rent, or work by yourself. And unfortunately, statistics say you're going to fail.
Why is that, you think, Ethan?
I think it's a rough industry. It is, like, from a health.
Because it's so competitive?
So competitive. Pricing's a race to the bottom. So you end up working
For nothing.
for nothing. Yeah, for next to nothing. You have no real formal training. I mean, you can get your bloody certs out of a cereal box. It's 6 months online, or it's so easy. The barrier of entry, sorry, is so low. So you have all these people that are really passionate about health and fitness. They do 6 months, then they go straight into a rental contract at $400 a week for a
And they
year
struggle, yeah.
with no skill.
But you know what? I see that a lot. And if I can raise any parallels to my industry, every second person on the internet is a property expert.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for 40 years. And I use a couple analogies, and one of them is, would you go to an unfit person and ask them to train you? So for me, if I'm going to a train, I need to know a couple things. Do you live and breathe fitness? Do you understand fitness? And are you good at what you do?
Yeah.
Now, I hear how passionate you are about it, and obviously you look very fit as well. That's a trainer that I want training me. And I use the same parallels. If I'm going to go to a financial planner that hasn't got $2 thrown to his name, that hasn't invested, that doesn't even know what a statement of advice is, why would I go to him? A lot of people on the internet, they talk the talk, but I always look at them and say, hey, is this person the real deal?
Yeah. If there's the two industries that everyone thinks they know everything about is fitness and property. I don't know what it is. You go to a barbecue, uncle's mate knows what house you should buy. Everyone wants to give advice on fitness and property.
I have a friend of mine who does it, he calls them the barbecue mafia when you go out and you speak to people and they give you advice. But I say, who you get advice from is vital when it comes to wealth creation and, of course, in fitness as well. Many years ago, feels like many years ago, I used to be very heavily into fitness because my brother was a professional fighter. So, and he always surrounded himself with the right people that had the right mindset, that were world champions. I had actually had a couple on the podcast, funny enough, so you're in very good company. We had Sam Greco, 4-time world heavyweight champion, Sam Solomon, who's a 5-time world champion, 3-time in boxing, 2 in kickboxing, and also Barish Nassif, who's a 3-time world champion, and Nick Torres is coming on as well. So I understand that model very well, but I think people, they see someone, they go, hey, I want to actually go learn how to make money through them, but they really need to stress test their advice, how good they are. Now, your logo, I read it on your top, be healthy, happy. Why is that so important?
I think everyone's so obsessed with aesthetics and looking good.
Yep.
But I think, which, fair enough, I understand. We all want to look good. But I think there's a big gap in the market for people just focusing on actually being happy about their health. So that's why we promote Be Health Happy. It's about, putting your health first rather than just aesthetics. And if you do the right things from a health point of view,
You look good anyway.
you're going to look good. Yeah. You don't need to stress about trying to.
Give me a couple basic tips for people out there that you advise, whether it be training, whether it be health tips, or some actionable items for someone out there, for someone that's been in the industry for so long and looks after themselves. Give me a couple actionable items for someone out there.
It's funny, right? I've been giving health and fitness tips for so long, and I always come back to the same thing, which is understanding and having clarity on what you want to achieve and why. I know that sounds very airy-fairy, but so many people walk more or do this. I can give people 1,000 tips and none of them will do it, right? So it's about understanding what people will actually do.
Is it your why and purpose? Is that what you're referring to?
Exactly.
So why do you want to look good? Why do you want to have clarity of your mind? Why do you want to train?
Yeah.
Because that will drive you.
100%. And then if you do that, the rest will come. Now, it's never, from health and fitness, just like it would be in your industry, right? It's knowledge is usually not the issue. It's application, especially in health and fitness.
Actions everything.
Yeah, that's right. So anyone can go on Google and learn how to lose weight. It's not rocket science. I'm not a genius, but it's about understanding what will get people to do that. And that's what this health and fitness is about. And that's what coaching is about to me. It's about
discipline.
Well, yeah, it's about discipline, but it's also about just like working out within yourself what drives you, so then you're just driven towards it, right? If I can get a person very clear on their why, they'll do the how. I don't even have to worry about it. They'll make their own recipes. They'll walk their own steps. I don't need to do anything.
Through the tough times. They'll go through all that. I guess it's a good place to start because I heard it once. I believe it was Anthony Rollins. I might be correct. He said, motivation fades when you're driven at last. And that driven comes down to a core purpose, a core reason. For me, back in the day, I loved training for one specific reason. I was fighting and I wanted to win. Now I'll do it because I want to have better clarity in my mind to make better decisions and play with my kids. The looking good and all that part for me, not as important as it used to be. I'm not competing against it. I don't have to worry about getting my head kicked off anymore. But having that clarity to make better decisions, being more awake and being able to play with my kids, that's my why. I haven't been as motivated as I should be when it comes to my fitness because I go through stages since I was 13 where I'm super fit, then I stop for years, super fit, then I stop. I'm going through an unfit phase at the moment. I don't remember the last time I walked past the gym. I drove past one the other day.
That counts.
I was about as, I go past a couple times,
Close enough,
but
mate.
I do want to get back into it, but
Yeah.
not enough. My why is not strong enough yet
That's it.
for me to get in there.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the perfect example, isn't it? Like when the why is strong enough, everything just falls into place. So then what should someone focus on? The why.
The purpose, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, there's a couple other points which I absolutely love. You got a couple big, massive goals, and which is clear because obviously you're breaking record after record, and that's to challenge your mindset to get to that next point. You also want to be responsible in your lifetime, and this is a big thing that's very close to me, to raise over $10 million for non-for-profit organizations. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so a personal goal to me is that I just want to raise literally as much money as I can for charity over my life. So the goal
Why?
that I think that growing up when I was young, like we didn't have any money. We had a good life, don't get me wrong, but we had no money, that's for sure. And I think that for me, being able to make a difference where I can means a lot to me. If I could have had some different things in my life, I think that would have really helped me. And if I can do anything close to helping someone else, I'm happy. So for me, it's like, I love health and fitness. I love crazy challenges. How do I take that and add value to someone else's life?
And inspire somebody else to take action. It's
Yeah.
funny because you say that, because I remember once I wrote a book, which I'll give you a copy of, and the one reason I wrote that, they go, why are you writing the book? I said, I want people to get this book and understand how to invest in real estate correctly and build as much wealth as safely possible, because I made a lot of mistakes. Now we've helped over 3,000 Australians, and I want it as a give back strategy or a pay it forward. And when I see people genuinely talking about things like you just said, it actually moves me. And there's another reason why I wanted to back you, because White Ribbon Australia used to be a White Ribbon Foundation. That's White Ribbon
Yeah.
Australia. But also because you've got such a giving nature that you want to give back. And you're probably in one of the best industries. I think wealth's super important. You need money no matter what you do. But without your health, wealth means nothing.
That's it. And you only when you start losing your health do you realize that's the most important thing to you. It's funny. No one will put health first. Well, most people won't put health first. Soon as there's a problem, that's the number one priority on everyone's radar.
But the best cure is prevention,
That's
isn't
right.
it?
Yeah.
Is get fit before that happens, is make sure you eat clean.
Yeah.
So what is your diet like, Ethan? Do you follow any specific diet? Are you pro one diet, pro not? Because there's a billion diets out there.
Look, I think that the best healthy eating plan is the one you're going to stick to. Adherence is the forefront of everything. So if you're not going to stick to it, don't do it. That's probably the best advice I could give anyone. For me personally, I just eat regularly and healthy, and I have a good foundation of carbs, proteins, and fats. That's my diet, if you want to call it that. But I don't even like using that word. I just eat clean, and I track everything, but I don't follow any specific plan. No.
Now, give me some of your goals in the future. You got a ton of things you're looking to do. Give me some of your goals in the future. What are you trying to achieve?
So, you hit one on the head before. I want to raise as much money for charity as possible over my lifetime.
Over 10 mil, which I'm hoping you will, and I'm happy to support in any way, mobilize that.
Good man. I'll take advantage of that. I want to break 40 world records before I'm 40 years old. That's a really big
How old
goal.
do you know, eh?
I'm 26.
How old you are? 26.
Only
I thought you look very young, but I did not expect. You're 26 years old.
Yes.
Wow, I feel like a grandfather. I'm like 16 years older than you.
Yeah. So those are probably the two biggest ones.
40.
I do have business aspirations, but for me, something I've had to reconcile with is that I definitely value health and fitness and performance more than I value business at this point. But I love building a business. Something that I'm really passionate about is creation. I love creation, adrenaline, and those things. I get amazing fulfillment out of running a business because I get to do those.
Of course, so you tick in every box. Now, you also do something on Saturday mornings I want you to talk to me about, where you help. It's more of a mindset challenge. Now, I don't know. I know you've probably heard this, or you've probably seen this. You've got a very David Goggins feel about the way you do things. Is he someone you look up to? Someone you see?
Well, he is actually. When I was referring to me listening to a audio book before when I ran the marathon, his book was the first book that I read as an audio book. So I read his audio book, or listened to his audio book, and then I've gone, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And I've followed his work since. I'm a big advocate of Goggins, and he definitely started my journey And I think I've veered off it a little bit now. He's a little bit too macho male for me.
Yeah.
I like to take a slightly different approach, but I love his stuff.
You know what? It's a good thing, and I say that with a lot of people. There's lessons in everyone that you learn. You can
100%.
idolize certain people, but you don't have to like or agree with everything they say.
Yeah.
So I see people that I like, and some people might say something different online, and someone might hammer them, and I go, hey, you don't have to agree with everything they say. You just need to take the positives of what you might be inspired by. Like
Yeah.
you look at David Goggins, I look at people like Mark Boris, and I like a lot of what he represents. He's from the western suburbs. He loves boxing. He built in finance. Doesn't mean I agree with every single thing everyone says, and I felt that with David Goggins when I looked at it. That's why I had to ask that. You know he's coming to Melbourne, don't you?
He is.
Are you
Yeah.
going to see him?
September. Yeah.
Are you going to see him?
No. And the reason is I decided that I've built up this fascination and I've taken so much from him that I don't want to destroy that image in case. Have you ever seen someone live and you've gone, wow, that was way different to
Not what I expected?
Yeah. And I've had that a couple of times.
You know, I'm not surprised that you say that because I understand because you build something up so...
It's a story you've created around
and
that
you want to
person.
keep it.
Yeah.
But you can still learn lessons because actually one of my friends is bringing him here actually. He's one of the promoters.
Ethan, wasn't it? Yeah.
Ethan Donati. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
the same name as you, funny enough.
Yeah.
So I was going to wonder if you were going, but very fascinating why you're not, but I totally understand it.
Yeah.
So tell me about this Saturday challenge.
Yeah, so every Saturday I run a complimentary or free challenge group,
Where is
basically, in Melbourne. Yeah, so we do it, it's different locations every week, 6 a.m. every single Saturday. I wanted to create a community of people that just want to get after life, right? So I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. Anyone's welcome. So we're slowly getting more and more numbers coming down.
How many people come?
Well, only just started, but we're getting anywhere between like 5 to 15.
And it's building.
Oh, it'll
And
build,
what,
yeah.
What would this
yeah.
involve?
An hour of probably the hardest things you've ever done. Yeah.
Like
so,
what?
So I mean, like the other day we did an hour of hill sprints on repeat. So just an example, like we just sit there, constant hour.
How many people made it through?
Everyone makes it through, always.
Because you're all pushing each other and motivating and inspiring them to get through?
Because and it's a happy, supportive environment, right? We're not here to tear people down. We're just here to increase.
Push your limits.
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah. So we want to find people's limits, go a little bit past it, and then next time they've got a higher limit, right? And that's what it's about, and that's why I've called the business Chasing Hard, which is all about chasing the heart.
Chasing Hard.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a complimentary service, is it?
No, so what we actually do is run retreats.
Yep.
So we've just started, and what that means is we take about 10 to 15 people away.
Yep.
2 to 3 times a year.
Yep.
And we put them through 3 days of extensive mindset training, which is also
all around Melbourne.
that is in Melbourne. Yeah. Yeah.
So I sign up, bang on part of his 10, 15 people. I'll do
Yep.
2-3 sessions
No,
retreats.
you're 3 days straight
Yep.
where you're away, and it's made up of workshops, workouts. It's all all food inclusive. It's a pretty full on experience. So
It's basically what I do with finance, fully holistic, but it's
Yeah.
around your health.
that's
Every
right.
aspect of it.
It's around your health, yes, and health's definitely a part of it, but it's more so about breaking preconceived limits of what that you have.
So you're limiting beliefs.
That's right. So you go there and thinking, I could only do this. You come back going, wow, I'm capable of so much more. And how we do that, and the vessel is exercise. The vessel is, workshops.
The vessel, and also too, it's encouragement. When you're around supportive people, because a lot of people have limiting beliefs, because people around them will say this can't be done, and they're 100% right. They can't do it.
Yeah.
But if you're around people that have that different mindset, 5 turns to 6, turns to 7 quite comfortably.
Yeah.
And for me, mindset's always been the most incredible thing in anything done.
Yes.
And that having that mindset, but having those people around you is only going to increase your competence to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And when people go there, they're surrounded by, another 10 people that want to change their life.
They want to help them.
It's empowering. Yeah. It's very empowering.
So with that, and so you're teaching them also nutrition, what they should eat, and your hope is at the end of it, they come back with a clearer, better mindset?
More so that these people that would be coming to this have already trained, they're already healthy,
Yep.
right? They already know what to do, but they're still underperforming in their life, right? They
In any area. You're not talking fitness, you're talking anything.
No, I'm talking clarity on who they should be. So what we do is I call it 2 parts, right? I'm not sure if we're allowed to swear here, but I'll change it up. So understanding who the F you are, understanding how the F you're going to get
We're
there.
not allowed to swear, but the F means fuck for those
Yeah,
of you out there.
yeah, all right. Yeah, so it's about understanding who you are and how you're going to get there, right? And we break down who you are, roles, values, how you want to show up in the world, all of these things, right? We turn them into habits. We build a bit of a brand Bible for their life. And then we go, how are we going to get there? So then we basically treat it like a project management, and we reverse engineer everything.
And the second time they come, they're just revisiting the same goals and they're going through that and they're trying to build upon that.
They stay there. They stay there for the full 3 days. And in
But then
between,
the second time, is this a once off?
it's a once off. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going
Do
to
you have
walk.
repeat people coming to you?
I've just started. I've only run one retreat. So we'll find out.
I'll be interested to find out because I think you probably will.
Yeah, maybe. Hope so. It's one of those things that I think when people go there and they leave, I've given them the resources that they can do it themselves. Yeah, they're going to walk away having this plan that they can lean on when they do feel a little bit lost or they feel like they need more clarity in their life.
I think it's incredible what you're doing, Heath. Been wanting to interview you for quite some time. I can't tell you the value that we've received from you being on here. Got some quick fire questions, but before we begin these quick fire questions, is there anything else that you'd like to share, either what you're doing or anything for the listeners out there?
No, not really. But I guess if anyone is listening to this, I would encourage people
I hope
to
they
just,
are, by the way.
yeah, well, I would hope so too, right? But I would just encourage you to just keep pushing boundaries. And that's what I'm passionate about, is helping people find new boundaries.
Which is why you're incredible and I'm passionate about it. All right, Mr. Ethan, let's go, my friend. Now, if you were not in fitness, what field would you be in?
Funny enough, I'm obsessed with property. So I'm on real estate every day. I can't get enough of it. So
Funny story, I hope doesn't mind sharing. He was actually on a real estate call just before he walked into my
Yeah.
office. Funny enough, so there you go.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do fitness for a living?
Fitness changed my life completely, and I wanted to be able to share that with others.
Did you always have that incredible mindset before you got into fitness, or did that take you to the next level? Is this I'm curious.
Yeah. No, so I definitely, when I was growing up, I was always that kid that was really bad at everything, but I would never give up. So I have always had that resilient mindset. I just didn't know how to channel it.
What was that turning point? Was it a person that actually said, "If you can do this"? Was it a self-belief? Because you had a limiting belief, obviously. What was that thing that changed that?
Do you know what? I think it was actually growing up with no money, and I was sick of it. And it originally didn't start in health and fitness. It started in just working all the time.
So frustration and pain.
Frustration and pain.
That's always the best way to
That's
motivate
right.
you to
yeah,
something.
and I was furious about the fact that I was living week to week, and I just decided I'm going to work 3 jobs, and that became an obsession. Then I channeled that into fitness, and blah, blah, blah.
I love that. I'm going to ask you, what was your hardest obstacle in your career, and how did you overcome it?
COVID, we lost basically the whole business. Like, we built it up to, close to 100 trainers at that time.
Yep.
And I remember when Scott Morrison made the announcement, the pivotal one that everyone heard,
Yep.
we had the phones ringing for 3 days straight of just cancellation. So we lost hundreds of members, which was years and years of work.
That's insane.
So definitely
How did you
that.
pivot? Did you go to Zoom? Did you go to online?
We went to online. We were very lucky that we had some very good staff, and they stayed with us.
Did you maintain? Did you get it back?
We actually doubled after
Because
that.
you can actually go nationwide. I discuss this with people.
And we had no expenses.
With
None.
COVID, you know what I actually say, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, I think COVID has advanced the market by 10, 15 years. The acceptance to do business, we're talking about real estate, people you haven't met, do fitness. You've now got a global audience, a national audience that you might not have had before. I think for the people that pivoted, it actually advanced business like this 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate for a lot of people that didn't.
Agreed.
Now, here we go. I have to ask 3 more. So these are the quick fire
Yeah.
questions. What's the first thing you think of when you wake up?
Coffee.
How do you start your day?
Coffee.
What's the favorite thing you cook?
Chicken, rice, and veg.
What's the worst job you ever had?
I used to have to clean rabbit poo out of a rabbit pen when I was pretty young. That was pretty rough.
I've got 3 rabbits I can dig. I dig it. Now my kids were supposed to clean it, but I'm the shit cleaner at the house anyway. Now, if you could work with anyone, both present or passed away, who would you work with?
Oh, geez, that's a hard one because I'd have 2 answers here. I'd have
Give me both.
the business answer.
Yep, give me both.
I think that I would love to be exposed to Ross Edgley from a health and fitness point of view. And then from a business point of view, I've always been fascinated with Richard Branson, just how he goes about business.
I like Richard Branson.
Yeah.
I met him personally. There was a story I'll share with you offline, actually. I actually played snooker on top of Necker Island with him. I got invited there for 5 nights.
Oh, nice.
2019. What is the one item you cannot leave the house without?
You know, I would love to say something passionate and awesome here, like my dumbbells or whatever, but
Like that.
the reality is it's probably my phone, unfortunately.
Everyone uses that. I usually remove that. What's the best gift you've received?
Advice from really, really helpful people.
Okay. What is something that no one knows about you?
Ooh, that no one knows. I'm such an open book. That's a very hard question to answer. But I would say that I come across as this pretty hardcore guy when the reality is I'm the type of guy that will cry in notebook, right? Like I've got a massive soft side.
To be honest, I've just met you, but I've heard a lot about you, mutual friends. You seem like a soft and caring guy. But I know you're an animal or a beast in your mindset. So that's a very good, hard quality to get. So that's fantastic. You must have been raised very well. Name a book that's positively influenced you.
Name a few. There's a book called Awareness by Anthony DeMello.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book. It is a little bit odd, but it's a book on like spirituality and understanding yourself.
If someone was playing a movie in the role of your life, who would be the actor playing the movie of your life?
I would love to say Ryan Reynolds just because he's funny.
I love Ryan Reynolds. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. What's one piece of advice you can share with our listeners?
One piece of advice that I would share with you. My advice would be understanding who you are at your core is probably the number one thing to self-fulfillment.
So don't lie to yourself. Is that what you mean?
Spend quality time trying to understand yourself. Don't just learn as you go. Dedicate time to you.
Great. That's great advice. Who's your hero and why?
Me in 10 years.
I like that. You've been watching Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
When you're not working, how do you like to spend your free time? Breaking Guinness records.
Honestly, it cycles between business and fitness. If I'm not trying to run the business or grow the business, I'm working on. Yeah.
What is your go-to stress management technique when you're really stressed out? You've had a tough day. I think I might know the answer to this one. What do you do?
Funny enough, for me, it's just sit in space, so quiet time. So like it'll be driving with no. I don't personally meditate. I've got very bad ADHD. I struggle heavily to do that. But I will drive with no audio. I'll go for a walk with no phone. Just anything where I can sit in space. Yeah.
I tried transcendental. I'm dyslexic as well. Whatever meditation it is.
Yeah.
That really helped me slow down because I got ADHD as well. Okay. To be calm, but it's an active meditation. It's very, very hard. Now, since you do like to break records, I actually was going to ask you. I think, what would you say every 1,000 burpees you do, I do one. Do you think you can take me?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I can do 11 burpees, but you could probably do 11,000.
Yeah, I reckon I might have you.
You reckon you can take me?
Yeah, I reckon.
So that might be our next episode. But look, I'd like to thank Ethan for coming on. This is a guy, please follow him, please watch him. If you're interested in fitness or health, Ethan Fleming, look him up. He's inspirational. I can't believe he's only 26 years old. He's doing great things. Thanks for being on the podcast, man. It was a pleasure to finally meet you.
Thanks, buddy.